Hear that? That's the sound of you creating your own destiny. While others are waiting in line for brunch, you're spending Saturday in the garage. Because you went to advanceautoparts.com, ordered a platinum battery with a 3-year replacement warranty, and picked it up in-store just 30 minutes later. Now, installing a battery isn't an all-day job, but what the brunch crowd doesn't know won't hurt it. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back on the road. Visit advanceautoparts.com to learn more.
The following program is a podcast1.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the main streets, Los Angeles, California. I'm pacing around my office here at 316 Gimmick Street. It's early in the morning. Right now, as I record this open, it is 10 minutes till 9 a.m. I didn't sleep a wink last night. I don't know what it was, but I was just tossing and turning. I probably slept for about 2 hours. So when my alarm clock went off at 6 a.m. this morning, man, I got my ass out of bed and started guzzling coffee and took my Alpha Brain. It's a big day for the kid here. I've got a real busy day. What I'm going to do today is right now, as I speak in here in the office, recording this open, I'll send this down to Stacy in Beverly Hills, 90210, where she puts the show together. And my wife is in there pounding out some chicken breasts for me, putting all my meals together for me for the day. I've got a lot of business to take care of. The eating program is starting to fall in place. I think I've got my nutritional values where they need to be. I'm starting to see a few results, starting to tighten up a little bit. And I've really started to focus on my weight training. And by focus on my weight training, I mean that by I'm always in a hurry. So sometimes before I blew out my rotator cuff, I would rush in the gym. Just go in there, slam some weights around, and get out and not pay attention to details. But now that I've been given the green light to start back with the weights on my right side, very, very light weights, I might add, man, I'm taking it at a whole different level. And it's kind of made me appreciate a lot more the bodybuilding style of training. I guess I could say that I trained like a bodybuilder during my active career because I wasn't training like a powerlifter. I never considered myself a bodybuilder because I didn't have that type of physique. But I would just, 5 sets of 10, 5 sets of 10, 4 sets of 8, and that might be chest. Well, I'm kind of still doing that now, although even higher reps because I'm training with one arm. And then when I switch to that bad arm with the rotator cuff and the bicep reattachment, I'm training with baby weights in very slow fashion with no explosion. And it's basically German volume training, trying to get some blood in that injured area into that tricep and that bicep, which have had no activity in about 3.5 months. So I've got a lot of atrophy going on. So the thing about my tricep workout is I can't really do one of my favorite tri exercises is lying skull crushers with an easy curl bar or standing tricep extensions with a cambered curl bar. Those are two of my go-to exercises right now because those two exercises put my shoulder, my rotator cuff in a compromised position. I'm really stuck for tricep workouts to just stick with tricep pushdowns and tricep kickbacks. And the thing about those two exercises are, those are known more as shaping exercises, more so than a size building exercise. But that's all I've got to work with. And on that tricep kickback, due to the fact that my right arm doesn't straighten out entirely, I'm not getting a whole lot of emphasis on that tri because of the calcium built up in my elbow joint to finally kick that thing in at the far extension to get it fired up. So anyway, I'm taking my time in the gym and doing less cardio, but more weight training, and it's starting to pay off for me. Things are starting to pick up. So once I come full cycle out of this injury and I get the green light to start really employing some heavier weights, that's when I'll shift my training into kind of just focusing more on the body parts. And it was, like I've read all these years, visualizing the muscle, feeling the muscle. And that's what I've started to do. And it's starting to pay off for me. So any of you guys out there that just go into the gym, slamming weights, and just not paying attention to anything. If you're in there gabbing with your buddies or got your music cranked up, hey, man, focus on your muscle groups. I'm starting to do that. And, man, seeing is believing and doing it. Going in there and just being prepared to spend as much time as I need to get my work done has been paramount as well. And, hey, man, I can throw a little bit of shout-out to my buddy C.T. Fletcher over at Iron Addicts Gym. He said he had a low tolerance for sissies. I dig it, C.T., and it's taken my motivation to another level. So it was a good conversation we had the other day on the Unleashed show. I'm headed down to Anaheim, California today, and I was on YouTube the other day. I spent a good amount of time on YouTube just looking for things to watch because some of television's offerings aren't that great. And, man, I came across some footage of a young man named Adam Shear, and he's a strongman competitor. And he's not just any strongman competitor. This guy is 6'8". At the time, he's about 415 pounds. I said, man, that dude looks real familiar. Well, turns out the guy I was looking at was Braun Strowman, the latest addition of the Wyatt family. So I said, man, he was cutting promos and talking to the people at the Arnold and talking at the strongman competitions, doing these interviews. And I said, man, this guy can talk his ass off. And I've been intrigued watching his journey into the world of professional wrestling, coming out of the strongman competition. So, man, I put the word on the street that I sure would like to talk to that guy and spend about an hour with him and talk about training, talk about nutrition, talk about life on the road, getting away from the strongman world, entering the world of sports entertainment, and how he had taken to the psychology of the business and where he feels he's at. So I set it up, and I'm heading down there to Anaheim. He's going to be my first guest I'll interview. And then I'm going to get a chance to talk to the one and only Pat Patterson. Now, for many younger people may not know, Pat Patterson is one of the best finish guys in the history of the business when it comes to matches. Just as far as laying out an entire match, he's fantastic. And Pat just wrote a book called Accepted about his life and the business of professional wrestling. And I read the book, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And I highly suggest it to everybody. It's a great read. I think what I'll try to accomplish with Pat is kind of stick to some of the wrestling stuff, because what interests me is Pat was always a creative person from the get-go, early on in life in Montreal, growing up very poor with 11 people in his family in a 2-bedroom condo. So he didn't have anything handed to him. He earned everything the hard way. And he saw his first professional wrestling match, and I'll get that story from Pat. And just from a self-described creative guy who was always looking for an audience, found his way into the business of professional wrestling, and all these years later paid so many dues, paved so many roads for guys like me and guys before me and guys that I paved the road for. So I want to get inside Pat's head, ask him questions about his education process as it pertained to drawing money. Pat Patterson worked with some of the baddest promoters. I mean smart promoters in the business, going back to when he was working in Portland for Don Owens, when he went over to work in San Francisco with legendary Roy Shire, spent some time down there in Texas, passed through Oklahoma, worked with Leroy McGurk, who was a blind promoter. That's going to be very interesting. He spent some time down there with Eddie Graham in Florida. Of course, he started working for Vince Sr. There's going to be some interesting stories there as you compare the vision of Vince Jr. with Vince Sr., and his relationship with that family. He's had an incredible run and is highly respected by everybody in the business, and by his own right, had a hellacious career as part of the Blonde Bombers with the legendary Ray Stevens in the San Francisco territory. We're going to talk about getting some heat over at the Cow Palace. Back in the day, man, those guys were so hot. Those people would get so mad. His life was actually in danger. I remembered working the Cow Palace way back in the day in the 90s. That building was built in about 1941, and it was the original home of what is now the Golden State Warriors. So anyway, I'm going to talk to Pat about his days there, some stories about getting heat, some of the famous things that promoters said to him that stick out to me and resonate with me as I, kind of take my look on the business. And you get a chance to talk with a guy who's been around longer than me and saw more and worked for different promotions back when it was a total territory system. I'm looking forward to talking to Pat. And then, of course, man, live tonight on TV, well, live yesterday on TV as you hear this, I'm going to talk to the one and only Dean Ambrose, WWE Heavyweight Champion. I don't know if I said that right. They got so many different names for those belts, but I'm looking forward to talking to Dean. I didn't know a whole lot about the guy other than I liked him, and every time I've gone up to a show, got a chance to talk to him. He's a good dude. He's fun to talk to. But, man, this guy has really paid a lot of dues in his business, and he came up, with a hard life out on the streets, Cincinnati, Ohio, where my old partner, Brian Pillman, came from. But anyway, let's get on with the show. I'm going to send this open. I'm going to pack up my stuff. I'm going to get in my car, and I'm going down to Anaheim. I'm talking with Braun Strowman. That's my guest today. We're talking strongman, nutrition, and his foray into the world, the crazy world of sports entertainment. And y'all know why I call it professional wrestling. But before we do that, y'all know how much I hate to read, and I just can't focus on those book pages. I have to read a page over and over because my mind wanders to other stuff. It takes me weeks to get through a chapter, and I usually give up on the book before I finish it. And that's true. Thank you, Pat Patterson, for writing such a great book. I had no problem with yours, but that's where audible.com/Steve Austin can come in to help you. No more sitting down, turning pages, and trying to focus on the tiny print. I listen to any book I'm interested in, whether it's a mystery, a thriller, autobiography, or the most recent bestseller. Audible turns reading time into story time. Just download your books or shows to your mobile device and listen anytime, anywhere. And it's great for road trips, sitting in airports or on airplanes, or even when you're out walking your dog. Audible.com/Steve Austin has a great selection of audiobooks, news, comedy, and original podcasts. An Audible app makes listening easy. It has chapter navigation and narration speed control. And like I said, you can listen right from your phone. That's what I did when Jocko Willink was on the podcast recently. I got the audiobook version of Extreme Ownership, How Navy SEALs Lead and Win, and listened to it before I talked to him. And hey, if you've got an Audible recommendation to share, tweet your suggestion to Podcast One and use the hashtag AudioSteveAustin. And if you ain't checked out Audible yet, join today. Go to audible.com/Steve Austin and start a 30-day trial and download your first audiobook for free. That's audible.com/Steve Austin for a free 30-day trial and audiobook. All right, I'm sitting here at the Honda Center out here in Anaheim, California. Hell, it's 11:40. I got one of the biggest, baddest, strongest cats walking planet Earth sitting right beside me. His name is Braun Strowman. He was the latest addition to the Wyatt family. Braun, let me shake your hand, you big bastard. We're going to do this family friendly, so let's watch the four-letter words.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Hey, so I'll tell you what, I was at the house last night, and I've been doing research. I'm talking to Pat Patterson today, and I'm going to talk to Dean Ambrose on the network. And when I was just perusing on YouTube, and I started looking around, because I'm always looking at strength stuff for motivation and just see what guys are doing. Mm-hmm. And I saw this big, strong cat named Adam Shear picking up all kinds of weight. That's your name, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that how you say it?
Adam Shares.
Adam Shear. God dang, dude. At the time you're doing some of these interviews, you're still 6'8". At the time you're weighing about 415, 420.
Yes, sir. About my biggest I ever weighed in was 418 when I weighed in right before the Arnold in 2012.
Dude, holy smokes. What are you weighing right now as we sit here and talk?
Right now I'm probably walking around 375-ish, 380 probably, if I had to guess. I don't really know. My body weight fluctuates 10 to 15 pounds a day depending on what I eat.
How did you feel at 415?
Miserable. I had to have my girlfriend help me tie my shoes, and just every day-to-day life was not enjoyable, getting in and out of cars and finding clothes to fit and feeding myself. It was a job just to be that big.
Dude, that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about eating on the road and your feats of strength. I'll even know where you're from. Where do you live?
I was born in Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, a little town maybe 45 minutes outside of Charlotte. Right now I live in Orlando, where I moved to start training with the WWE, the Performance Center down there, so I'm still in there. Airport's nice. I don't mind it, so I'm sticking around down there for a little bit.
that's a good place to be. I mean, we just had some big-time tragedy over there with the shooting and stuff like that, but just as far as the location with the airport, it's a great place to be based out of, especially with proximity to that training center. But before we get into the wrestling talk, let's go back a little bit to when you were a kid. Because, dude, at 6'8", 375, were you a big kid from the get-go?
I graduated high school when I was 17 years old, and I was 6'5" and 305 pounds at 17.
Dude, the football coach probably had his mouth drooling. Did you play college football, high school football?
I played high school football 2 years. My first 2 years of high school, I didn't really do my grades like I should have, so they wouldn't let me play football, and that kind of led to me not playing in college. I played semi-pro ball for 4 years in North Carolina after high school and stuff like that, and I did NFL Combine in 2007 and had pretty good numbers, but without the college experience, I couldn't really get anybody NFL-wise to look at me. I had some arena offers and stuff, and just nothing that I really wanted to pursue anymore in the football
And that's
aspect.
the thing for a guy that's as big as you, and obviously you understand leverage from a weightlifting standpoint because that's a big part of the battle, along with the strength aspect of it. But as big and strong as you are, and going back to when Brock Lesnar tried out for Minnesota, big, strong guy, but with a lack of technique, other guys got the advantage.
Yeah, that's with everything, I guess, in life, even with strongman, everything. There's so many little technical things behind the scenes that people don't realize what it takes to get to that upper echelon of the athletes and stuff.
So what were you doing with your training coming up in junior high and high school? Were you already putting up stupid numbers back then?
Not really. My dad wouldn't let me lift weights till I was like 16 or 17 because the old wives' tale of it'll stunt your growth or this and that or hurt you. And I really didn't have any opportunities to do it. We had weightlifting and stuff in Phi Ed in high school, but no coaches that knew what was going on, anything like that. So kind of through high school, I tried to I lifted and things like that. I think maybe in high school, I could probably bench like 300 pounds or something like that, and maybe squatted the same. Nothing crazy back then.
But back in the day, I was always a big fan of the Powerlifting USA magazine, and probably has since disappeared. Of course, I was into all the muscle mags, dude. With looking at you now, I would just assume that was just consume your life from all the way back in high school. When did you decide, hey, I'm one big strong ass son of a gun, I'm going to start taking this serious and start doing the strongman stuff?
I was working security at a nightclub in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I actually ran into a fellow strongman who was a professional strongman at the time that was working at another bar named Brad Dunn, and David Hansen, actually another guy too. And they kind of just saw me there and would realize that I was a big guy and everything, and they asked me what I did, and I was like, well, right now I'm kind of just doing life and, just working this security thing, enjoying life and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And they asked me if I wanted to come out and give strongman a try, and lo and behold, like a week later, I came and gave it a go, and I fell in love with it instantly, and just things kind of clicked for me. I can remember growing up not lifting weights and things like that, but when it came to doing things out in nature, I guess that's where the country strong is that what I've always called myself, that farmer strong, like when it comes to just weird things. I don't know, picking up rocks and hay bales and this. I think that's what my body was built for.
Dude, what kind of skills did you have as a security guard? Because a lot of guys might be in the Krav Maga. They might know a couple of arm locks or some wrist stuff, some control things. I'm guessing you were just straight up intimidation, unless you have some skills that I don't know about.
I got little things hidden back in the pockets here and there from previous experience in life. But my thing with security was I got into doing security because I like to go out. But the whole time that I did strongman, I never drank or anything like that, just because I was so worried about focusing on what I was going to do down the road and how if alcohol would prohibit what I want to do. So I didn't drink, but I like to go out. So I figured I might as well kill two birds with one stone. I can go out, get paid, and be out and do it. So that's what got me into the bouncing stuff. But I think, mainly my thing was, I guess, I don't know if it was the intimidation or the fact that I could talk most people out of doing something silly.
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because I see you talking. It was probably it might have been Arnold. I think it was when you tweaked your arm. You were talking about the six-pack backpack that you carry all your meals in. Yep. And I said, man, this guy can talk. This is a silver-tongued devil. So you can talk your way out of a lot of situations, which maybe not everybody, and no offense, but I didn't expect that out of you.
Yeah. I think a lot of people it throws people off a little bit when they hear me speak, because especially like with my TV character with Braun Strowman and things like that, I'm don't really say too much. It's more action, less talking. And in life, I'm kind of the same way. I go about keeping myself for the most part, pick and choose who I open up to and who I want to speak to. But if I get talking, it's hard to shut me up.
Hey, that's good because we're doing a podcast. Your diet. You were talking to that young lady at the expo. It might have been Arnold. And I'm trying to imagine, because I'm sitting there trying to get back in shape from my rotator cuff injury. You're sitting there like a brick house at 375. Is there anything specifically that you have to eat? Because now that you've left the world of strongman and you are a WWE superstar and you know how tough this life is now,
yes,
how long
sir.
have you been on the road?
Coming up here, it's the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam is when I debuted last year. So we're coming up on a year right now in the next, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you eating on the road to maintain your 375?
I eat a lot of Chipotle. That's my guilty pleasure when it comes to food, because I guess they advertise they're organic and the price ain't bad for how much that I got to eat. So it usually works out. I usually hit them 3, 4, 5 times a week when I'm out doing that. And then it gets tough. I mean, at late at night, there ain't a whole lot of options. So, I mean, it's load up on, usually when I land in a town, first place I go is like a vitamin shop and go straight and load up on protein bars and little cookies and snack things like that, so I don't have to be a fat pig and eat whatever at the gas station at 2 o'clock in the morning while I'm making towns.
Do you have to worry about, what kind of food you're taking in? Because obviously you have great genetics, but, I mean, if you ate garbage, would you get fat?
Yeah. I try more so now because I don't burn as many calories working out as much anymore because I don't go as crazy. Now my normal gym's about an hour and a half, and that's doing 20 minutes of cardio in there.
Go back to the start of the Strengthman days when you started training with that guy. What did you focus on? I mean, were you doing heavy deadlifts, squats, and bench? Because I know those are power lifts, but did you use those along with everything else that the strongmen do?
Yeah.
Like, what were your totals? What were numbers you were throwing up?
Well, yeah. We focused on a lot of the 3 lifts, but instead of more of like the bench press aspect, I think it was more the clean and press overhead. Because within strongman, there's no bench press events anymore, at least that I know of. But yeah,
but those are just kind of staples that guys kind of use as a benchmark. Whether you might not be a power lifter, but how much you bench is always kind of in the equation.
Yeah, the most I ever did was 585 in training.
Was that raw?
That was raw.
That's a damn good lift.
And then I never really did a lot of. I like doing a lot of close grip stuff. I remember one time, a good friend of mine. I don't know if you know Mark Bell. He makes that slingshot.
He was he's on my podcast next Thursday. Yeah, I love the slingshot.
Yeah, oh, me too. That's what I said. To save my elbows and stuff like that. The best I ever did with one of those, I did 525 for 7 on close grip bench press with a slingshot on.
Dude, that's what I like about that thing, because I'll go. I'll get my heavy reps in before I mess up my rotator cuff on. I'll throw on that slingshot and put something on there. I'm always training by myself down at the ranch, so man, it's something that will help me get a few extra reps in. If you're wondering what we're talking about, go to howmuchyoubench.com or supertraining.tv, and you can check out the slingshot. It's an invention by Mark Bell. Have you ever worn a bench shirt?
I tried one on one time, and I couldn't get 500 pounds to touch my chest in it.
Dude, I think that'd have been so tight. It'd take like 10 guys to pull it on.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. I took it off. I looked like a tiger with just bruises all over me, stripe bruises.
But that's what I like about the slingshot, because it just gives you a little bit of assistance. These days, I just think sometimes things are over-equipped, and so it seems like in talking with Mark Bell, he's going for a new bench press PR, and he's going to do it raw, and so raw is coming back in vogue, and I like to see that, because for a while the bench shirts were so thick, it's like, man, it's adding a couple of 100 pounds to the lift, so really what is the lift?
Yeah.
So talk to me about the strongman stuff. If is it the Atlas stones? What kind of training protocol were you in on a day in, day out basis? Because a lot of the stuff I saw you doing, you're pushing prowlers, you're doing Viking presses and stuff like that. But what about the poles and all the other stuff?
A lot of the stuff, when I got to a contest, it was the first time I ever got to put my hands on it. So like where I grew up, like I would to train events like Atlas stones and stuff like that for the first year that I got into strongman, I had to drive 2 hours one way just to get in, and I would only train events one day a week. It would be on Sundays, and that's also on top of I worked a regular job. I worked 60 hours a week, then I worked 3 nights a week doing security, and then would get up and go down there to train. when you're chasing a dream, you don't let nothing get in your way.
So how long did you do the strongman? Because I know WWE came calling.
Yeah. My first contest was in September of 2009. I trained maybe like 4 weeks for it, and I won my first contest. It was the Beast of the East, a Nationals qualifier in South Carolina. And I'll never forget, being out there and not knowing what I was really getting myself into and seeing these guys that I got to compete against, and it opened my eyes because I thought I was a strong guy. And once I got into competing this and started meeting these athletes from all around the country, then the guys from all around the world, man, it's insane, the human beings that walk this earth out there. And just to where I started, and I think I still am, I'm not sure if I am or not, I'm the fastest American to ever start strongman and turn pro. And I started in September of 2009, and I got my pro card in November of 2011.
And that's the question. What does it take to get a pro card in strongman?
Usually they have a nationals event every year, which is North America's Strongest Man. And then I think they have 3 or 4 other opportunities a year. So there's only maybe 4 or 5 spots a year for guys to step up into that next level. And that's what I mean. Strongman opened up so many doors for me. Got to travel around the country on my own dime for 2 years doing all this, just a guy with a dream. And then I qualified for Nationals 2011, and I knew going into this was going to be tough because the competition, there was a lot of really, really good guys and stuff. A late great friend of mine, Mike Jenkins and stuff, just guys that were the next level, the future stars, the new Magnus for Magnusons, the Marius Pujanowskis, guys that are going to go on to be etched in stone for the rest of their lives for what they do. So big revolving door of everything I'm saying, man. I won Nationals 2011. It gave me the opportunity to compete at the Arnold Amateur World Championships in 2012, where I represented the United States against, I think it was 52 other athletes from 19 different countries. And we had 7 events. I won 5 of these 7 events at the Arnold that year because I came in fired up, ready to go for that one.
Tell me about the nerves going into a strongman competition, because here in a minute I'm going to shift gears and we will talk about wrestling because that's a whole different crowd. And some of the stuff that I watched you do, I think it was Atlas stone. Y'all were just dropping them over a certain level height. However many stones you drop or was your tally 4 times. And, dude, the other guy starts to have a little bit of a hard time with respect to him. Well, you start hamming it up, working the crowd. Are you nervous before a strongman contest, to get back and make it a simple question?
Yeah. At first, I was really nervous because I had flaws in my game and things that I knew I was going to be weak at, and that they would always make me nervous because I knew I had to make it up somewhere else. And then as I got further along, more educated in the sport, and then obviously became stronger in it, I started honing out those weaknesses, and it's kind of just sitting in the back, headphones in, just some kind of a good tune in the head, and just trying to stay calm as long as possible as you can to keep all that basically adrenaline and everything bottled up. And then when it's time to hit your lift, you flip that switch and you go out there and you just let it out.
I'm a music guy, so what kind of music would you do to keep you calm but get you in the state of mind you needed to be?
Sometimes I would do classical stuff, sit and listen to Mozart, not always even music necessarily. I'm a huge Vince Lombardi fan, so I would listen to his speeches and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm giving myself goosebumps right now thinking about just different things. Probably a go-to is Metallica. I mean, just Metallica, Korn, Marilyn Manson, just the heavy stuff right before I go. That's when I'm hitting that switch with something heavier. And then, I don't know, the classics, Skinner and Zeppelin, and just things that I grew up listening to that puts me in a happy place and just lets me relax.
What does it take to be a good strong man? Obviously, you have to be genetically inclined. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the gifts, if you don't have the leverage, you can do it, you can participate, but you're probably not going to succeed. On an intellectual level, how paramount is the training, to train smart with the guys that you learn from, as like a power lifter would follow a specific cycle for the 3 lifts for the total? Like, what is the scientific approach, or is there, to the strongman games?
See, with the strongman games, usually they would have given us, it depends what the contest, who promoters are. They give us a few weeks notice of what the events are going to be so we can hone it up. Otherwise, it's year-round training 20 or 30 different events all the time because you don't know what they're going to throw at you. Some contest, my first big international contest, I went to Poland to represent the United States. and got there and had no idea what any of the events were, what the weights on anything was, the language barriers there, trying to communicate, figure out what's going on. So it's just that kind of just being good at everything. I mean, and I don't really know, like, when it came to, I didn't have to train as much on, like, the moving event stuff. That came really natural to me, talking to that farmer country strong. When it came to, like, grip strength and just moving around, yoke walks on my back, that all came real natural to me. The struggle for me, and I think being because I'm 6'8", was all the overhead press and stuff I've got, whereas, like, guys that are 6 foot tall, I got to move it 6-8 inches further than those guys do every lift. So,
dude, here's a wrestling question. We're going to go right back into the strongman stuff. 6'8", 375 right now. Here's the thing. When you work for this company, Vince McMahon, it's very hard to get first class. Usually you do it when you're a top guy, and then kind of when you get it, you're tenured. You always have it. You're 6'8", 375. I'm repeating one more time just because of you've got to imagine how big this guy is when he's standing next to you or sitting next to you. Do you fly first class as your big-ass flying coach?
I'm in coach. I don't have any clout yet. I'm hoping to get there.
Do they buy you 2 seats in coach?
No.
Dude, here's the thing, man, and that, first of all, is torture on you. I think it's hard on the person sitting next to you.
Yeah, I definitely, sometimes I feel bad. A lot, flying into L.A. yesterday from Orlando, I got lucky. There was a girl that maybe was 5'1" and 90 pounds sitting beside me, so she kind of just scooted over to the other side of her seat, and we both got along comfortably.
Back in the day, dude, I'd get on a flight and I'd be back there, whatever, and I could spot, there'd be like you said, the 5'1" chick that weighed about like 90, 100 pounds, and that would be great. But then there's always some big dude that was like 350, and he wasn't really in good shape. And
Yeah.
I guarantee you, my luck of the draw, he's going to be sitting right next to me in the aisle, and I was right 95% of the time. And as soon as they sit down, I always bust on him. I said, dude, I was hoping for the 5'1" chick.
Yeah, that's me holding my breath, fingers crossed, like who's coming. And I'm sure everyone feels the same way when I come walking on the plane. They're like, oh, God, please don't sit next to me.
Please don't let that guy be sitting next to me.
Yeah.
One time I was on a plane with Dusty Rhodes, the late, great one and only
rest
Dusty
his soul.
Rhodes, a national treasure. And Dusty was kind of, in my seat as well. I was about 250 at the time, and I finally looked over at Dusty, who I loved and respected. I said, Dusty, could you please stay in your own seat? This seat's for me. We got a good laugh about that. Back to the strongman stuff. I'm not asking for number figures. Can you make a living being a professional strongman, traveling all over the world? I know this can come from sponsorships, primarily, because I don't imagine the winnings are a whole lot.
Yeah, a few of the contests, the money's pretty decent. At Arnold Classic, I believe it might be up to close to $100,000 now for the Arnold. But you're talking, one, the chances just getting invited. They'll invite 10 guys from the entire world to it. And then 2, it's the 10 strongest human beings on the face of the earth. I mean, I competed once at the Arnold Pro and tore my bicep on the first event. It's a gruel. At that level, Dr. Terry Todd, who puts on the Arnold Classic, he wants to see what the human body's capable of. And every year, the bar's raised. The guys keep meeting the bar and pushing it up higher and higher and higher. And it's crazy to see where the sport's come from where I started to where it is now. Like when I started the sport doing a 400-pound log clean and press overhead, well, heck, there was only 3 guys in the world can do it. Well, now if you can't do 400 pounds, you're taking a stick to a gunfight.
Right.
So it's just, but that's the evolution of all sports. I mean, football, basketball, baseball, everything's bigger, faster, stronger.
As we speak now, what are you, 31 years old?
32.
You're 32 years old, so, man, you're still a pup. You got plenty of miles in you. How much wear and tear did the strongman stuff take on your body?
It definitely took a toll on me. Collapsed arch, my right foot, torn bicep. I'm sure it had to help do with the back surgery that I had to have, a year and a half ago.
What did you have done?
I had
lumbar?
a microdiscectomy on my L5-S1. It was pinched off my sciatic nerve, paralyzed my left leg. Had to WWE, man, great company. Last minute rush, emergency flew me out to Pittsburgh to see Dr. Maroon. Had emergency surgery on me. He said like 5 o'clock Saturday morning. I woke up an hour and a half after surgery and could walk. Got pushed into the hospital in a wheelchair.
Dude, where are you getting most of your clothes?
A lot of my clothes, a good friend of mine has a clothing company, Silverback Crew, and he was a sponsor of mine when I did Strongman. We got to be really good friends, and he still sends me clothes because, I mean, he specifies in making stuff for bigger people. So a lot of that. I don't know if you know Rob Bailey. He's a good friend of mine. Owns Flagner Fail Clothing.
Yeah. His wife is Dana Lynn Brooks.
Dana Lynn Bailey.
Dana Lynn Bailey, yeah.
Yeah, one of the top.
Oh, yeah, she's badass.
Unbelievable. Yeah, top physique women in the world.
Yeah.
And
she grinds it out. I mean, boy, she goes to the gym. She would bury me in the gym. It's crazy. That she's
little girl
insane. I've watched a lot of her training videos. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So y'all are hooked up. What you say? You got a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay, so dude, what's home life like for you? 6'8", your weight, eating. I mean, do you cook? Is she cooking all the time? Y'all eat out all the time? Because this is, dude, you know the schedule. You're down in Orlando when you're home, but you're out on the road, and so you're doing the Chipotle, whatever thing, probably Waffle House, IHOP, Denny's, try to eat clean, and you can eat clean at those places. Yeah. And that being said, I was talking to someone about eating clean the other day. Dude, if you got to roll through Burger King or Wendy's or McDonald's, whatever, and just eat the meat and throw away everything else, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But you're at home, so what are y'all eating at the crib, and is she cooking all this food for you? Because can you estimate, people get mad at me for making these long questions, can you estimate how many calories a day you eat?
I used to try and keep track of it. It's not as much as it used to be. Like, I had a nutritionist when I did Strongman, and my goal was 1,050 grams of protein a day, 1,000 grams of carbohydrates. We're talking,
dude, that's 8,000 calories right there.
Yeah, that's what I said. We were talking 12, 13,000 calories with the fats and everything.
God dang. But that makes sense, too. What would you figure you're at right now? Ballpark guess.
If I had to guess right now, I'd probably still say I did between 5 and 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is she cooking all the time, or you cook?
It's terrible to admit, but I haven't turned my stove on since I went on the road.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. That's called an improvising, overcoming, and adapting and learning.
Last thing I want to do when I get home is go to the grocery store, cook, do dishes, this and that. And by the time, for what it takes for me to eat and have a meal, by the time I go buy it, cook it, everything, I can pay somebody to do it for the same price, and I don't have to do the dishes.
Amen, and use it as a write-off.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Save your money, kid, and use your receipts. Before we start talking about a little bit of wrestling, before I take a break here, I want to ask you a question because I was on YouTube and I saw a trailer, a teaser for a movie. The name of the movie escapes me. Smarten me up about this.
Oh, that's actually, I did that right after I won the Arnold Amateur. The movie's called 3 Count. And what's so ironic about it to me is that it's a movie about 2 brothers aspiring to be professional wrestlers. And this is before I had any idea that I was ever going to get involved in this company. So it's kind of ironic to me that I played a good guy, kind of bad guy-ish in that movie that was about wrestling, and lo and behold, 4 years later, here I am doing Stone Cold's podcast backstage at the Honda Center in Anaheim.
Okay, now whose idea was the movie? Do you have aspirations of getting in front of, on the silver screen or on television?
Yeah.
Other than wrestling?
I love the wrestling, the aspect of walking out in the place going nuts. I mean, it's a special feeling. I mean, I've done a lot of things in this life that I've lived so far, but man, walking out, especially being part of the Wyatt family, like coming out at WrestleMania and 100,000 plus people with their lights on their phone, it was breathtaking. And that's one of those moments I was glad that I got to wear a mask, because I'm just marking out, walking out there like a 6-year-old, just going, wow, these people are here to see us. Yeah. And it's just special.
So before we take a break and segue into WWE, let's talk about the recruitment process. So how did WWE start getting into contact with you? Were you an avid wrestling fan prior to them calling you?
Avid through the Attitude Era, all through up into when the Monday Night War started, and until 2001, 2002, when I graduated high school, I started to fall off a little bit. But all through high school, God, I can remember so many times getting kicked in the nuts and stunned in the hallways, walking around and just going, just playing wrestling like kids. And it's just, and I can think back to when I was a young kid, my cousin, still is a huge wrestling fan, and just we didn't have cable or anything. I grew up out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have cable in my house till I was 13, so there wasn't a lot of opportunities to watch any wrestling. I can remember going to his house, and he had the Slam buddies and everything, and it was just wrestling, crazy. But then, I got a little bit older, and it kind of fell off there because I just went with life and just started. I went to college and this and that, and I just.
But never thought in a million years you'd end up being a wrestler.
Yeah, that's the thing. We were talking to somebody the other day, and it was because my first action figure just dropped, and somebody was talking to me about my action figure, and I was like, man, you could have told me, hell, not even you, God could have opened the skies 10 years ago and go, Adam, in 10 years, you're going to be a WWE superstar, and you're going to have an action figure. And I'd probably had to look the good Lord in his face and tell him he's full of crap, because I never in a million years thought this would end up panning out like this.
Back in the day when you wanted to get a job with a wrestling company, a promotion, whatever, you'd make a videotape, or I guess back in the day then they started making DVDs or whatever. That was old school. Prior to that, a phone call. Mm-hmm. You didn't do any of that. Through the recruitment of WWE, man, they're trying to look in all aspects, different sports, a lot of amateur wrestlers, the college football players or pro football players who couldn't quite make the grade but were premier athletes. Mm-hmm. And now, were they looking in the strongman world?
Yes,
and said, hey, this dude might have something. Let's call him.
Yeah, Mark Henry's who turned the company on to me. Mark and I got to be good friends after I did the Arnold. Was my third ever strongman contest. I did the Arnold in 2010, and I met Mark there for the first time, and I've been a big fan of it through his wrestling career, his strength feats, and everything like that. And we got to talking, and Mark turned Canyon Seaman onto me and said, "Hey, you need to watch this guy. He's not like all the other strongmen," because I took pleasure in going out there and hamming it up, getting the crowd involved, whereas a lot of the guys who go out there, I pick this up and put it down. Yeah. And then they turn around and go in the back. Not me, man. The louder the people got, the stronger I got, the adrenaline gets going, and then I'm having fun, they're having fun. And I think that was one of the big things that drew WWE to me, is seeing the fact that I enjoy going out and entertaining, and that I am basically an attention whore.
Right now, I haven't been too in touch with what's going on television. I will be tonight. I'm doing a podcast out of here. Are y'all still running heel, or have y'all switched baby?
Right now, I am not with the Wyatt family at all anymore.
Okay.
They've drafted all three of the other brothers are on SmackDown. I've come to Raw. They're wanting to change my look. New music, new hairdo, still same big bad Braun. But with what direction? Right now, I'm kind of just running rampant because I don't have anyone that's holding my chain anymore. Bray Wyatt's gone. He was my leader. I followed him. Now, the door's open, and who knows what's going to happen.
Man, that's a good place to take a break. I'm coming right back. I'm talking to Braun Strowman here at the Honda Center in Anaheim. He's fixing to go out, probably crush some poor human being in the middle of a squared circle. I will be talking to Dean Ambrose. You will hear this today after this happens, but Braun Strowman is my guest. I'm coming right back after this. All right, so y'all know I wouldn't be able to do this podcast for you free twice a week if not for the great sponsors of the Steve Austin Show. So let me give a big ups to a sponsor who's been with me almost since the beginning, my close personal friend Diamond Dallas Page, and DDP Yoga. DDP Yoga has changed countless lives, including some of your favorite pro wrestlers like Jake Roberts, Scott Hall, Mick Foley, and Y2J, Chris Jericho. They all swear by DDP Yoga. And now DDP has taken his life-changing program to a whole nother level with the DDP Yoga Now app on iOS and Android devices. So now you ain't got no more excuses about why you can't start DDP Yoga. The app means you can take it and do it anytime, anywhere. And the cool thing about the app is that you can track more than just DDP Yoga workouts. By connecting to a Bluetooth heart rate monitor, you can track your calories and heart rate in real time, no matter where you are or what you're doing. All the fitness tracking features like pain tracking, measurements, progress photos, and much more are completely free in the app. And DDP Yoga Now subscribers won't get bored doing the same workouts over and over again because they've added completely new 2.0 workouts. Live workouts from the DDP Yoga Performance Center and motivational messages from DDP himself. I'm telling you, this is some badass stuff here. And DDP even hosts a gluten-free, dairy-free cooking show with all kinds of surprise guests. So get your workout on, get your healthy cooking on, and get on the DDP Yoga program using the DDP Yoga Now app. And to make it even easier than he's already making it, for a limited time, you can get the DDP Yoga DVDs for 20% off, plus 3 months of full access to the DDP Yoga Now app. Just go to ddpyoga.com/Austin. That's ddpyoga.com/Austin to take advantage of this great deal. Commit now. Change your life. Go to ddpyoga.com/Austin to get started.
Some of you think it takes too long to drive to Buffalo Wild Wings, order lunch, eat, and get back to work in time. It's because of people like you that we've got the B-Dubs Fast Break Lunch Menu. We guarantee you'll get an entree like wings or street tacos plus a side delivered to your table in just 15 minutes or it's free. You used to wish we could serve lunch faster. Now you might wish we were slower, but we won't be. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
For a limited time only at participating locations. Restrictions apply. See participating locations for details.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
All right, here we go. Back in conversation with Braun Strowman with the Honda Center, kicking back. It's a big day for me. I got a lot of people to talk to. I'm happy to be talking to one of the strongest human beings I've ever talked to. Mark Henry is your connection. He puts you in touch, or WWE in touch with you. How do the talks go? How long of a process is this before they say, hey, we think you'd be a good fit for us, and vice versa?
So I met Canyon Seaman September of 2011. I was at World's Strongest Man, actually right up the road from here at Commerce Casino in Los Angeles here. And it was pretty short and sweet. It was basically, hi, I'm Canyon. I'm a recruiter for WWE. You know Mark, blah, 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 blah. Here's my card if you'd ever be interested in giving me a call. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I went about, I was an alternate that year, so I basically was out there. They had me testing all the events, doing everything, and making sure that everything was going to run right. So I knew I was going to compete in Arnold in 2013. So I got in contact with Canyon and said, yeah, hey, I'm definitely interested. I want to do one more strongman contest and whatnot. So I met them in September. They brought me down December of 2012 to the FCW arena, I guess it would be, where developmental wasn't for a while in Tampa, and went down and had me run the ropes and just move around and cut a promo and just kind of feel me out and see what I had to offer, I guess, in a couple of days period. Well, lo and behold, I guess they liked what they saw because they signed me, I signed May of 2013, so I did the Arnold Classic and then had a couple months off and then signed. Moved to Orlando July 4th, 2013, and started July 7th.
So what was your feelings rolling in there? I mean, you're in the world-class level of strongman, and now you're in the developmental system of WWE. Obviously, when you walk in, you're going to turn heads. How did you feel? Were you confident? Were you nervous? I mean, because this is a big gamble, and this is not near. I don't know how it looks to people at home if they think it's easy, but it's anything but, in my opinion.
Totally agree.
How did you feel? What was your confidence level?
I walked in very confident when knowing that I had a lot to offer and that I knew that there's not a lot of people built like me, personality like me, everything like me. So I walked in with that, but, man, I tell you what, it didn't take long to have second thoughts, man. There was days going in and it's like – because they want to make sure you want it and you're going to earn it. They ain't giving you nothing here. And I'm more than happy with that because everything I've had in my life, I ain't ever had nothing given to me. I've busted my ass for everything that I've got in this life. So it's just another thing. And I knew that coming in, I'm starting from the bottom. I wrestled in high school, but other than that, I have zero sports entertainment background in me other than hamming it up here and there on a strongman stage.
Now, how did you do in wrestling, amateur?
My junior year in high school was my last year I wrestled. I was 23 and 7, and then got hurt in regionals. My senior year I didn't wrestle because fixing my grade situation that I didn't like to do for a while. I had to go to night school, and that happened during wrestling season.
But I'm imagining you were more of a strength guy and being able to overpower your opponent than so much a technique guy. With respect that you have technique, but I wouldn't say that, I'm guessing it wasn't your specialty.
Not so. It got a little bit. I started learning more and more. Luckily, I went to a high school that had a great wrestling program. We were a small high school out in the middle of nowhere. Bandy's High School in North Carolina literally is surrounded in cow pastures. I think our biggest thing is the FFA out there. And we had a good wrestling program for a small school, and I had a good group of my buddies. They're all brothers, 4 brothers, the McIntosh brothers, that moved down from upstate New York, and all of them were 4-time state champs, All-Americans in college. And I hung out with them all the time, and they were all a lot smaller than me, but I had to stay on my toes with these guys because we'd be walking in the mall, and they'd try and shoot a double leg on you and take you down in the middle of the mall. Yeah. So I picked up a little quicker, I think, than I normally would have in the wrestling, just being around those, because you never know what kind of shenanigans these guys are going to try and pull on you.
Now, here's the thing, man. When you go down to the Performance Center, and I've been wanting to get down there for a long time. I haven't made it down there, but I can imagine that all the trainers are down there. They're usually training most of the guys with the same skill set because, by and large, everybody's going to it's like going to a college and getting a business degree. It's the same curriculum for everybody. But I'm thinking with your body size, your type, you have the amateur wrestling background, but I don't expect you to go out there and grab a whole lot of headlocks, spin around to a hammer lock, and be a scientific wrestler. So my question to you is, how did they I'm trying to say, direct your training, whereas they would direct, a lot of the guys that are coming out of the amateur ranks, but other people that are going to learn how to be a regular wrestler, I don't think that falls into what you're going to be doing. You're to me, a brawler, and a wrestling move every now and then could be cool or neat. But, dude, I expect you to just go out there and crush people. Okay, now here's the question. How did they tailor your training to work for you?
Well, starting out, didn't really. Everyone did the exact same stuff. They taught us to bump, to run the ropes, to roll. I mean, I was doing squats, standing on the top rope to work on footwork and just everything. A lot of stuff that, in the back of my mind, I thought to myself, why am I doing this? But then again, down the road now, I see a lot of it, because now with all the bumping that I did and the rolls and a lot of things that I thought was monotonous that I did over and over and over, it formed a callus that now that I just do these things automatically and I don't have to think about it.
What did you think about running those ropes? Did you dig it? A lot of people hate them, and your ribs would be sore for the first few days. You might be bruised up. It's just part of the process. I loved it. I just loved ricocheting off those damn ropes. It was my thing. Did it rub you the wrong way? Was it?
I liked running the ropes. I mean, it didn't take long. I'd always wear a raw spot on the top of my hind end, but I liked running the ropes. The drop downs and things like that were the things that every day I knew we were having a drop down drill, and it's just, oh God.
And those drop downs, it's like a burpee.
Yeah.
They will blow your ass up.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, if I was injured coming back for something, I'd go in the ring, just show up at a TV taping or whatever, run the ropes, just do a drop down, get up, keep hitting the ropes, stomps in the corner of a turnbuckle, build my gas tank back up. How did you like the mat when they started teaching you a bump? I was hosted 2011 version of Tough Enough, and there were some kids in there, Miss USA in particular, who was allergic to the mat. How did that feel on a big body of yours that you beat up in the strongman contest?
I tell you, I remember after the first week of practice, I remember waking up like a Saturday morning, I had off, and I got out of bed, and I felt like I was 90 years old, like my all hunched over, everything hurt. I sounded like Rice Krispies when you pour milk on them. When I get out of the bed, everything's just snap, crackling, and popping, and then that's one of those moments where I'm like going to myself, what the hell have I got myself into? And I had to take a step back and go, man, sometimes, I don't know, is this worth it? But then you pop a couple ibuprofens and have a cold one or something like that, and it makes you rethink, I don't think anything, in my opinion, I don't think anything that's easy to attain in life is worth having. Anybody can have something given to them, and I don't see any satisfaction or gratitude, self-worth of somebody just, here's a plate, eat it. I'm more of like, get out there, grind, do my thing. If I don't make it, it's my fault. So
So when you came in, you start going through the process. How long were you there before they said, hey, you know what? You're going to be the newest member of the Wyatt family?
For a long time, there was talk that it wasn't going to happen. When I first got to talking about being brought up to the main roster, it wasn't going to be at all. They were talking about cutting my hair, my beard, giving me a different look, going with something else. And then the powers that be decided that that's not what they wanted. They wanted me to be with the Wyatt family. And I tell you what, like, the little experience that I have had coming up and wrestling and then being put in with a group of guys like that to hide some of my weaknesses while I hone my skills, I couldn't have been in a better spot. I mean, three of the greatest human beings that I've ever met just to be around outside of the business. Then as far as in the ring, Luke Harper's one of the best working big mans I've ever seen. Rowan's the same way. Like, he's come, now that Harper's been hurt for a while, Rowan stepped up into Harper's position, man. We're working on the house shows and things, and he's the one flying around and bumping and doing all this crazy stuff, and then, like, walking out with Bray and just even him mesmerizing me, and I'm in the ring knowing what's going on and just listening to him talk, and it's just like, I was very, very blessed to be put into that spot, and I think it really helped me. Like, I don't know, what would have happened if I would have been brought in doing something else. Who knows? Because, with this business, it's fly by the seat of your pants. You either get over or you don't.
I like all the aspects of the Wyatt family, and I could see a babyface run out of those guys. And Bray, I mean, his promos, the way his mind works with that voice that he's got, he's just an entrancing storyteller. Just ropes you in with the cadence, the rhythm, and that drawl. You get lumped in with those guys, and like you said, you're going out there, you're part of they call it a team, a faction, whatever you want to call it, but they were able to, protect you. You go out there and do the things you do. Your first few nights, you go out there and everybody throws the iPhones and whatever up. Mm-hmm. Was that a mark-out moment?
That's what I said. It's just that the Fireflies is something special. I mean, it's taken over the world of everything. Like, the Fireflies are Bray Wyatt's thing. Now you look at concerts, football games, basketball games, baseball games, the Fireflies are there, and like to think about that I was part of the original reason why this season even exists, because I don't know of any time they'd ever done that before they started doing it. That was the London crowd and the crazy things that they like to do, and then all of a sudden things stick, and now you walk out, like we were talking a minute ago, walk out 101, 273 at WrestleMania with their flashlights going on their phones. Yeah.
So you got Bray Wyatt who's leading that. You've got Eric Rowan, who I think is a really good hand. They need to do something with him. Luke Harper, I didn't know he was injured. What's wrong with him?
I think he tore his MCL and ACL.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. I wish him all the best in healing up. That's a damn good hand, like you said today, and I like his work as well. So when they said, okay, here's going to be the new guy, his name's going to be Braun Strowman, how did they take you in? Was it like, we don't need another guy, or, man, this guy's green as hell, we'll put him somewhere else? Did they embrace you? How did that process work?
Bray and I have had a special connection, I think, ever since we met. He's kind of wanted me since the first time they saw me, because him and I, in real life, it's almost scary how much we are alike. He calls me Evil Wyndham, like I'm pretty much do all the stuff that he doesn't do, which is nothing really, but he's wanted me since day one, and he was ecstatic, I think, when they found out that, here, we're going to give you this guy, and I know you've been wanting him, and let's see what happens.
How have your mechanics progressed since you've got into the squared circle from day one until now? Do you feel comfortable being in the ring? How are the nerves? What are you thinking before a match? In the strongman, it's a little bit different because it's an explosion. In a match, whether you're just beating the guy down or you're telling a story because you're trying to get over. Mm-hmm. So how comfortable are you in the ring now versus when they first put you in a group?
I'll never forget for the rest of my life that first night at the Barclays Center, the Raw after SummerSlam. I was underneath the ring getting ready to do my debut, and I was under there for like a half an hour, and I'm freaking out. And I don't usually get worked up over things. I'm pretty good about keeping a level head about everything. And, man, I'm just worst case scenario. Everything's going through my head. I'm going to trip going over the top rope, getting in. I'm going to do something stupid. I'm going to do this, blah, 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 blah. This is my one chance. It's like you either do it right or you go home. And I don't know. I guess I thought like that and was nervous, but then I think when it came time, they hit the horror graphic lights out, and I feel like I flipped that switch almost like I did in Strongman. I just went out there and just did what I knew I was going to do, and I think it came off pretty well.
What is your take on a match? Because I would lead this, and by what I mean is it's an athletic endeavor. It's a contest. It's, it's damn near a shoot, but it happens to be a work. So it should look like a football game. It should look like a wrestling match, a contest. So where are you at with respect to psychology? Going about the process, you're going to overpower a lot of guys, but therein you've got to make that guy and put on a match. How are you with your psychology? Are you 101, you 201? Are you at the Shawn Michaels, Nature Boy, Ric Flair, Bret Hart 301 level? Or?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'll ever get to that level.
Still
at the 101, still just learn everything. I've been very grateful. The last 3 months that I'd been in a program on live events, me and Eric Rowan have been working, Kane and Big Show on the live events. So just going out there with those guys, and they've done everything there is to do. I mean, both the guys been in the business 20 years. They've won every title there is to win. They've done it all, and just having the opportunity to go out with two greats like that with so much knowledge and just listening to them and the psychology of telling a story.
Well, and the fact that also what makes it easy for you, and Eric can go himself, but with respect to Big Show and Kane, you're talking about shoot together. They have, probably close to 40 years experience. And those are two guys that are big enough that you could actually do something with, take a bump for, get slammed by because of who they are, one, and how big and strong they are, two. So it frees you up. Because if both those guys were 6 foot 210, even though they were 20-year vets each, it'd be a little bit different of what you're giving and taking. So working with two big guys does help you come along.
Yeah, it do. I always keep in the back of my mind what the head coach of the WWE Performance Center, Matt Bloom, told me. Willing to bump. I'm willing to bump for anyone, but we're going to tell a story to get to it. I don't want to go out there and just be some guy that's just flopping around, flying around like a 185-pound guy. I like to think that I can tell a story of someone smaller trying to overcome. Oh, he's rocking. Oh, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. Oh, man, he can't do it. Oh, and then, holy cow, he knocked him down. What just happened? He knocked him down. Braun Strowman doesn't go down. So, working with that, I've had some opportunities to work with Roman and Dean and guys like that are the top guys and that aren't necessarily quite my size. So, working on that. But then again, it's just lucky for me to be put in a position with guys like that because, they've done it all already. You know what I mean? Maybe not so much as all, but both guys are very well established, can work, and just going out there and telling them what I do well, what they do well, and then finding a way to put it together.
You used to walk out with the rest of the pack, which was the Wyatt family. Now you're walking out by yourself. How is that? Is there insecurity there? Because now you've got to find your own way. Now there's not, 1, 2, or 3 members with you to pick up the other pieces of the match. It was like the Shield when they split those guys up. They had to pick it up by themselves. Here you are by yourself. How's your confidence?
I'm pretty confident. I feel comfortable that when they're ready to call on me for something big, I'll be able to produce.
You're ready to produce. Here's a tidbit of information I gained. I was reading a book about Pat Patterson, one of the greatest minds in the history of the business, and he was talking about working for a promoter named Roy Shire over in San Francisco many years ago. And Shire's big thing, he would watch every match, and he would yell at everybody after every match because he was all about psychology. And he would go on to quote Ray is saying, he didn't care about your moveset. He didn't care that you did anything spectacular, or if you could do something spectacular. What he cared about was that it meant something. So don't get caught up in a game. If I could give you a tip or a pointer, don't get caught up in the mindset that, hey, man, this would be cool for the crowd to see a dude that's 6'8", 375 get clotheslined and turn a flip because the guy hit me so hard. I don't care who you're working with. If it was a guy twice your size, it just it should be logical. Tell me about what motivates you. Are right now, are they just letting the crowd dictate who and what you are? Are you working baby? Are you working heel?
Right now, they didn't give me a direction of what they want. Right now, they basically told me to go out there and be a monster. So
get over.
Yeah. So I guess it's just going to be to what the crowd, if they one day they love seeing me kill somebody and the next day they hate it. So
if you had a preference, I mean, do you have any lean any way to heel or baby?
I like being a heel because I like to think in real life I'm more of a baby face in real life. I'm pretty fun to be around. I like to have fun. So when I get to go out there and be something that I'm really not, I think it's kind of cool because I feel like that's more of a challenge because anybody can like play their self, I think. To go out there and be something that you're not and do it believably to where like I've like literally like seen children cry when be walking by them by the ringside and stuff like that. So
just because they were scared.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing that to go down the road that you're going, as a heel, it was always my opinion that you have more creative freedom to do anything you want. As a babyface, you have to have a certain quality. I mean, you never want any egg on your face, so to speak. But as a heel, say as big as you are, 6'8", 375, you don't make a habit of this. But if you tripped going through the ropes, hey, you're a heel at the end of the day, and it just means you're going to beat the living hell out of the guy because now you're really pissed. He was pissed before you got in the ring, but now you're really pissed. So to me, if you're working heel, it'll give you even more time as a single to build up your confidence level, build up your comfort level, build up your repertoire, and keep feeling the work, keep feeling the crowd. When I worked, and I would go on to have my greatest run as a baby, but I always loved being a heel because of the things you just mentioned. I'm a pretty nice guy. But I love being the heel, but just because I love being a shy kid growing up, I just love to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And so that would teach me, ultimately how to be the greatest good guy. And, I don't blow smoke up my ass, but I was a pretty good guy.
Yeah, you're pretty good.
But, but man, I tell you what, when you go out there and you can do anything you want, the point I'm getting to, as to me, tip, as a heel, you have to have a mean streak. I mean, I don't expect you to have as many gears as Shawn Michael had, but you have to have an extra gear. You have to have an explosion gear. You have to have a hammer gear. I mean, you have to be able to grind through somebody, use your strength. But when it comes time to get mean and just open up a can, I call that a mean streak.
Yeah.
And I believe in my heart that every heel has to have a mean streak. That when it comes time to get the heat, I mean, it's on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a baby face, on the other hand, it's almost the same, but it's spun in a different direction because it's a 180, but it's fire. So you have, to me, as a baby face, you have to have fire, or you want your baby face to have fire because when he does try to come back on your big ass, he better have a truckload of it or he's not going to be successful because your mean streak is just going to quell him down. You're going to grab him by the throat, whatever your finish is, and put him down. So fire is a babyface mean streak right now. What are you using for a finish?
Right now I've been trying to get over a reverse choke slam, and it seemed to have been the crowd makes that gasp of, oh, God, he just killed him when he hit him with it. So I've done that. I've got the choke. I haven't done it in a while. A couple other things that I got stashed away that the people will be seeing more of soon. Can't tell them everything. Well,
just and looking on your looking at your Wikipedia here, the lifting arm triangle choke, is that what you're referring to?
Yep. The
choke slam, the reverse choke slam. What's the Yokosuka cutter?
I'm trying to think. Billy Gunn actually taught me that one. It's kind of load a guy up like a power bomb, but you catch him on one shoulder on his back, face facing up, and you kind of flip him and sit out at the same time with him.
Okay, you got a bill throw, a big boot, a clothesline, a running shoulder block, spine buster, body avalanche. That's a hell of an avalanche. A scoop slam. You better have a scoop slam, a suplex, release spine buster, elbow drop, corner foot choke, shoulder claw. Got to have a hold, back body drop, European uppercut. There's so many people using those European uppercuts. If I see you throwing an uppercut, I expect that guy to fly over the top rope, Braun. A gorilla press slam, you better have one. You're pushing 400 pounds of that damn log over your head to Oklahoma Stampede. That's a natural. See, look, your signature moves, if you would look me up, there'd be 2 signature moves, a right hand and a stunner. So you've got a better move set than me right now. In this business right now, who do you look to for advice? Because you're a big guy. There's not a whole lot of big guys here other than Kane and Show. But other than that, what are your sources of information to help you learn more?
I can't put over the fact how much of a factor Bray has been in my career. It was kind of almost heartbreaking that they split us up because we ride together, we room together, we eat together, we live together. We make towns, and he talks about wrestling, tells me about what I did that night that looked good, what sucked, what I need to throw away, what I need to keep, and then it gives me matches to watch and pick through this and look for what you think about this, and then here, oh man, I saw a new idea for a move for you. So like I said, I can't put over the fact about how good of a brother Bray Wyatt is.
You ever go back and just for the hell of it watch some old Stan Hansen in Japan, Brody in Japan, or Brody in the States, and you're a bigger guy than that, but just the way they project and work as a big man?
I watched, just recently I watched Snuka versus Brody. I think it was like 84 or 5, I believe. Not sure. It was an old one. But yeah, in Japan, and it was just, it's the one where Snook, I think it's the one where he did like the dive out of the ring. It was like one of the first times, and people were just going crazy because like, what is going on? Like throwing drop kicks and just stuff that's unheard of back in the day like that. So, and you had to watch Bruiser Brody's mentality of how he works through the ring, that slow, methodical, then the quick burst of everything. And that's what a lot, and Undertaker's same way, like that, slow, methodical, but then when it's time to get it, it gets it. And that's what I'm trying to base a lot of my character off of, is that slow, methodical. I don't want to be a big lumbering giant.
Here's the thing. A big lumbering giant does not entertain, and you've got to remember in your journey to get over, because you're on your own now, so now you've got to start again, but in getting over your new singles run, it's, making people gravitate towards you. They've got to care about you in some way, shape, fashion, or form. Love you, hate you, or identify with you. They've got to be able to relate to you. They've got to be able to believe in you. And a guy like Bruiser Brody was so real. I mean, we know what the business is. It's entertainment. But to us, it's real. It's real to us. And so to the fans, it's real to them too. And when you can make those people believe in you, you will be over. And it'll be like, all right, man, I hit Braun's music. Okay, everything else don't matter. I'm watching Braun do his thing. So that's what you got to keep working on.
Yeah.
What are your goals here? What would you like to achieve?
I mean, eventually, like I said, I would love to get a shot at going for the heavyweight championship or the new universal title that they have. And I know I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not saying I don't want to be rushed into any kind of position like that, because I want to hone my skills as a worker to where people go, holy crap, like this guy is huge. But not only is he huge, he can go and do things. Like I feel like I have things stashed away that I can do that people are going to go, wow, how did he just do that? He's not supposed to be able to do things like that. The guys that big don't move like that, don't do things like that. So that's what I'm working on, is being not just a big guy, but being something different, something more. I don't even know, like being a circus attraction where it's just, come see the bearded lady, see the strong man, come see this freaking giant that runs across the ring and just smashes people and can work a hold.
But this is a hard life, and I would dare say, with respect to strongman, that this is one of the hardest lives you can live. And I say that with respect to the guys down there in the coal mines, guys on construction sites, guys doing the pipeline, or even teachers. The thing about this job is it takes a physical toll, and I always tell people you kind of live in 3 lives in one body. On one hand, you're a truck driver because you're driving yourself to all of these places you've got to go to. On the other hand, you're a professional athlete because you're training like one and you're performing like one. What you call a business a work or not, you're training and performing at a pro level. And then on the other side of that, if you get involved in it, you're also a rock and roll star because there's always a party, and if you show up, you could be the life of the party, and there's all kinds of things that you can make yourself have access to. So the grind of the road is real.
Yes, sir.
Are you embracing it and loving it? Are you looking back, or is there any hesitation? Do you know that you made the right decision?
I feel like without a doubt this is what I was put on the earth to do. Like, I can't think of there's no way I could go back to doing any kind of a 9-to-5 job or a desk job. I would slip my wrist in the first week if I had to sit at a desk and crunch numbers all day. And I noticed it a lot. A lot of times they keep us busy where we're only a day and a half at home, and that's good because that's enough to unwind and this and that. But if I get at home and I'm there for like 3 or 4 days, like, I start going, like, I'm bored. All my friends now, I live in Orlando, I got a couple civilian friends, but everybody else that I'm friends with, hang out with, is all in the business. And when they go home and I go home, it's like I just sit around and go to the gym and play video games.
Dude, you're barking right up the right tree, man. I could be dead dog tired from a run on the road, and like, man, I got to get home. Well, I just throw the suitcase down by the washer and dryer because you never truly unpack. Yeah. Day and a half later, I'm sitting there, man, I'm ready to get back on the road today. And I call them the same thing. I had my civilian friends, but most of my friends are the boys, and now my friends now, I still speak the language that I spoke here. Yeah. With my closest of friends. Yeah. So you're in the right mode, and I used to call that zombie mode, but just because you're not dumb. I mean, you're just in total road mode where you get up, you pack your stuff, you get out. No longer telling how long the road trip's going to be in the United States, state to state, international. That is what you do. You still observe and go through the other processes of life, but first and foremost, you're working for WWE, worldwide company. You're going worldwide. What you do is hang around buildings, go to gyms, eat at restaurants, and then you wait for that bell to ring for your time to go in a 20-by-20 ring and entertain people. And that's what I thrived on. That's what everybody here thrives on. And boy, I tell you what, and don't ever tell. Last piece of advice I'll give you: don't ever tell Vince or Triple H you feel burned out, because that is the kiss of death. Yeah. Triple H has been working his ass off, but the old man is notorious for being a workaholic, and he still is. And if you mention those two words, it will not be a good day for Braun Strowman, as big and bad as you are. Don't say burned out. Yeah. Well,
like I said, right now I don't see that even possibly happening, because that's what I live for this week to week now. It's like being around the boys, hitting gyms in different towns, and then exploring during the day when I do have time, trying to find cool little restaurants and just different things like. And then the international stuff. I mean, I'm doing Raw tonight. I'm driving straight from Raw to LAX and flying to New Zealand. So yeah, exactly. You never know. That's the cool thing. Like, and I've packed where I learned quick when. If you're on a 4-day loop, you still pack for a 2-week loop. Because I got caught out, and I'm like doing washing my underwear in the sink in the hotel room, and I got stuff hanging up all over the place. I'm like, okay, I thought I was leaving for 4 days. I've been gone for 18.
When you're drying underwear or whatever you're going to wear, you're using the hair dryer, the blow dryer to dry everything. Because there ain't no laundromat. Hey, we're going to cut it off right here, man. It was good talking to you. Watched you when you first came in. You made a big impression on me just from size and presence alone. So now it's up to you to put all the tools, all the tricks of the trade together and forge your own way as you continue your career here in WWE. I'll be watching from the side, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Good talking to you. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off into the sunset. And you know what that means for me. Right now, it's 15 minutes after 9 a.m. My wife's in there cooking my food. I'm fixing to pack my bag of tricks, my recorder, all my food, head down to Anaheim, catch the show tonight, and talk to some real cool people. Before we leave, I want to thank Adam Shear for giving me, well, let's call him Braun Strowman, big-ass dude, for giving me about an hour of his time today. He's got a busy day today. All the WWE superstars do when they're coming into town. Got a live show to put on, so it was great talking to him. And if you want something to watch on YouTube and you want to look back at this guy's career before he got into the WWE, go to YouTube, type in Adam Shear, S-C-H-E-R-R. I did. Dude can talk a blue streak a mile a minute, and he ain't no dummy. Smart cat, good cat, strong as an ox. That's what I recommend for you guys to watch. Hey, here's a couple quick plugs. All my Broken Skull Ranch t-shirts. I'll be wearing one tonight on the network, tomorrow as you listen to this podcast. All my badass Broken Skull stuff is available at BrokenSkullRanch.com. Broken Skull IPA and El Segundo Brewing Company is available at Whole Foods and Total Wine if you live in California. And there's a link to Inside the Cellar on BrokenSkullRanch.com if you live in a state they ship to. Don't forget, folks, I always think everybody needs a pocket knife. Hopefully you'll never have to use that to defend yourself, and you can use it opening envelopes because it's real good at helping a brother pay his bills. It's the Broken Skull Cold Steel Pocket Knife, and there's a link for it on BrokenSkullRanch.com. It'll take you right there to ColdSteelKnives.com. Hey, folks, I appreciate all the word-of-mouth advertising you guys are doing on behalf of this podcast. We ain't got no advertising budget up in this thing, and I appreciate y'all supporting the sponsors of the Steve Austin podcast because they're the ones who let me do this for you free twice a week. So once again, big thank you to Audible. Start a 30-day trial and download your first audiobook for free at audible.com/Steve Austin. Big thanks to my man Dallas and ddpyoga.com/Austin. Get 20% off the DDP Yoga DVDs and 3 months of full access to the DDP Yoga Now app for a limited time. Thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. And, of course, big thank you to Amazon. They've been supporting this podcast since day one. Folks, if you use my Amazon links whenever you're doing any online shopping, Amazon will kick back a couple of bucks to the podcast to help us pay our production costs. Doesn't cost you anything extra. There's no hidden fees or charges. Just buy whatever you was planning on buying. You help out the podcast in the process. And you can find my Amazon links by going to podcast1.com, clicking on the Killer Deals button in the top right corner of the page, and then hitting the Steve Austin Show button. That's where you'll find my Amazon links for USA, UK, and Canada. And if you bookmark it, you can find it in one click. Podcast1.com, click the Killer Deals button, Steve Austin Show, bam, there you go. Do your shopping. That's how we pay our production cost. Hey, coming up on Thursday's Unleashed show, Sean, ex-Pac Waltman, came by my crib a couple of weeks ago, and we had a great conversation. Hell, I believe Sean was with China for about 4 years and went to her memorial service early this year and talking very candidly about their relationship, all the ups and downs, some of the stuff, the good stuff and bad stuff, the regrets that came with that. It's a heavy episode, but it's a good episode too because we lighten it up with some talk about X-Pac's new podcast on the AfterBuzz Network and some other stuff he's working on. The cat's getting busy. I'm proud of him, and he's just dude. The guy wears his heart on his sleeve. He'll tell you like it is. He's a no BS guy. I really, really enjoy talking to Sean Waltman, and I think he's going to have a lot of success over there with the good people on AfterBuzz. Hey, folks, the 60-second AP News headlines are coming up next. Until then, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at podcast1.com. That's podcastone.com.
I want to say thank you to Drop Stop, one of the great sponsors of this show. Drop Stop is the original patented seat gap filler, as seen on TV's Shark Tank. Get the original Drop Stop at buydropstop.com and use code STEVE for 2 free gifts and free shipping. Stay tuned for the latest AP News headlines from Podcast One right after this.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Update. I'm Carlotta Bradley. Southeastern governors are dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. Florida Governor Rick Scott.
The brunt of our problem is really right now in Northeast Florida. I'm going to be here until people get back. I want them back to work. I want the businesses open. I want people back to school. I want people in their homes, and I want them to have power.
South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley says power needs to be restored and roads fixed so evacuees can get back home.
We are dealing with flooding. We are dealing with trees down. We are going to deal with debris removal. And so we ask for your patience.
North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory says 3 people have died in the state, so residents need to understand just how bad conditions are.
From Raleigh all the way east, stay off the roads, stay in your house, watch the football games on TV, bunker up.
3 people have died in Georgia, 4 in Florida. AP Update, I'm Carlotta Bradley.